Namaste. Welcome to the 26th video in the overall series and introduction to Sanatana Dharma. Today I start the topic Kundalini and Chakras. I thought I would do this in one video. Looks like it will go to at least two videos. By the way, the thumbnail of the video is a concept related to Kundalini and Chakras, which I will most probably touch upon in the second video. What I have in my virtual background is a photo that was apparently taken in the Kamakhya temple in Assam. What you see here is Shakti, and what you see here is Shiva. Why I'm talking about Shiva and Shakti will become a little more apparent as we proceed further. Let's get into the video. Before I proceed further, let me start with this. I saw it in one Telegram group that today is the day that Sambhaji Maharaj actually died. Sambhaji was the son of Shivaji Maharaj. Today is Phalguna Bahula Amavasya, the last day of the dark fortnight of Phalguna. Tuesday is Ugadi, when the new year, Plava, the year called Plava is going to start. Today is apparently the day that Sambhaji Maharaj died. The reason why this land has existed over millennia, if not longer, while later civilizations like that of Rome, Greece, Mesopotamia, Persia all died away, is because of Hinduism, because of Sanatana Dharma. Sambhaji Maharaj is an example of the people because of whom this culture is still alive. If you have not heard about him, please read about his life. Especially, please read about his death. It is because of people like him uh, that this culture is still alive, and it is because of this culture that this land is still alive over millennia. Now, before I get into today's topic, just a couple of points. A lot of the things that I talk about today will be very interesting, at least for somebody like me. These are pretty interesting topics. We talk about certain things which are relatively esoteric, occasionally very, not occasionally, in fact, they are very like secret information technically, stuff like this, right? Extremely important. Treat this as, in case you're interested in topics like this, you can always treat this as a starting point in your own quest. What we are about to start today, what we are touching upon today, is something which is extremely powerful. In fact, it is literally Adya Shakti. It is the power behind creation, behind the entire universe. So this is something that has to be treated with the utmost respect and care. The in for today, see, please understand one thing. Generally speaking, spiritual information, religious information was traditionally not very easily available. Today, in the information age, so-called information age, everything is very easily accessible. Good, bad, spirituality, religion, all of these are very easily accessible. But you need to be very careful about what you're doing with what you have learned. I'll give you a small example. I recently was at Dhyanalinga, where certain, let's say, Bijaksharas were written somewhere. And if you just search Wikipedia, you don't even need to probably Google, even on Wikipedia, then there are a lot of websites which talk about stuff like Kundalini Yoga, chakras, what to do here, there. Access to this information is very easy, but please remember that what you are dealing with is literally the energy behind creation. So you have this information from electricity, right? So if you take a certain wire, if you overload it, that wire will burn out, right? Fuse conks off because there's overload, there's a short circuit, because that circuit is not able to take that uh, electricity or voltage, that current or the voltage, right? This is something similar. Please don't do any self-prescription or self-practice of anything related to Kundalini or chakras. These have to be done under the tutelage of a proper guru. And generally, if people approach you saying, I will teach you about this, I will sell you some stuff, please be very careful. It would be probably a relatively safe thing to run away from there. So treat this with the utmost care and respect, and be very careful with topics like this. So some of the concepts that we had discussed earlier, we will revisit in today and the next video. So one is we spoke about something called Chit, Sat, Chit, Ananda, three defining concepts of Parabrahma, the ultimate divinity. There is something called Chit, which is pure consciousness. So there is a concept of something called Chit Shakti, Chit Shakti, this divine energy, this cosmic energy, which is coming from Parabrahma. Then in the last video, in the earlier video, we discussed something called the Sukshma Sarira, the subtle or the astral body. So we have three bodies, the Sthula Sarira, the Sukshma Sarira, and the Karana Sarira. Then we have the Jivatma or the soul. The Sukshma Sarira is where all these nadis, the Nadi Mandala, the chakras, kundalini, all these exist in the subtle body or the astral body, which is also called the Sukshma Sarira. Then the way we have the nervous system in our physical body, in the Sthula Sharira, the astral or the subtle body has something called the Nadi Mandala. Let's take the count as 72,000. So 72,000 nadis are spread across the Sukshma Sharira. Then we touched upon the concept of something called Kundalini. Kundalini is often picturized as a goddess, as Shakti, one half. So we discussed this some time back also. Parabrahma, the ultimate divinity, has no gender. There is no meaning to it. Right? It is pure Sat, existence, consciousness, bliss. That's it. There's no gender. It's not male. It's not female. It's nothing. There is no attribute. Uh, um, Gunatita, beyond the gunas, and nirguna, right? No gunas, no attributable quality, so to say, at all, by definition. Now, when that ultimate divinity wishes to bring forth creation, we have the concept of Ishvara and Ishwari, or Shiva and Shakti. Uh, don't treat it as a Shaiva or Shakti or Vaishnava principles. Basically, let's take them as the male and feminine principles, because the moment we talk about creation, it is Parabrahma has to take on the three gunas. We spoke about the three gunas also sometime, like the Sattva guna, Rajoguna, and the Tamoguna. So, for creation to come forth, that aspect there is an aspect of Maya which has to come in. Those gunas have to come in. So, what was Nirguna, what is Nirguna, in fact, has to take on a Saguna aspect for creation, for a tangible creation to come forth. So, the moment that Nirguna aspect becomes a Saguna, we have the concepts of the male and female uh, halves of divinity, Shiva, Shakti, Narayana, Lakshmi, however you wish to call them. Kundalini is a way where the feminine energy behind creation is said to exist in our is or exists in our own body. It is one half of this duality of Shiva and Shakti. Ahankara, a lot of people refer to it as Ahankara's pride, slightly different. The actual spiritual meaning is Ahamkara, that basically which I-ness, I am Chaitanya, I am so and so, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a child, I'm a Hindu, I'm an Indian. This I, this identification, this identity, this I principle, the ego principle, is called Ahankara. So these are some concepts that we touched upon some time back. It is Kundalini that gives us the concept of Ahankara in us. Okay? Now let's get into the core structure. Let's see. I will probably be able to touch upon this slide and at max one more slide after this, given the constraints of time. Now, this is applicable to any human being. Okay. Now, let's take this diagram and discuss a couple of things. I will not be touching upon certain things here, but generally speaking. Now, and the first thing that we need to understand is Kundalini is this divine energy that lies dormant at the base of our spine in something called the Mooladhara. So let us, okay, Kundalini is this divine energy. Out of the 72,000 nadis, there are three primary nadis. The center, so the three nadis primarily pass through the back, especially the middle one, which is called the Sushumna. So Kundalini energy lies dormant at the base of our spine. There are three main nadis in the body. The central one, which passes through the middle of the spinal cord in the subtle body, is called the Sushumna. Then we have two other nadis called the Ida and the Pingala. Now, These are part of the Ida, Pingala, Sushumna are part of the Nadi Mandala, Kundalini Shakti. Then we come to the very popular, famous concept of chakras. There are technically, there are slightly different classifications. Somebody can say that there are more chakras also. What are most commonly known are these. There is a reason why I have color coded them. I'll come to that shortly. At the base of the spine, the last thing is something called the Mooladhara Chakra. Then we have the Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Ajna, Sahasrara. Now, technically, there are 6 chakras. The Sahasrara is actually not a chakra. So you might have also heard of this phrase called Brahmarandhra. Uh, the Sahasrara is actually what is referred to as the Brahmarandhra, which is at the top of the skull. Kapala Moksham, Kapala Mukti. You might have heard of phrases like this. These are all associated with Sahasrara, which is here on top. There are 6 chakras, 6 primary chakras, the lowest of which is called the Mooladhara, which is at the base of the spine, let's say near the excretory organs. Then near the reproductive organs, there is the Swadhisthana chakra. In the, let's say, abdominal area, there is something called the Manipura. Anahata is near the heart. Vishuddhi near the throat. Ajna between the eyebrows. You might have heard of this concept of the third eye, the eye of wisdom, the eye of knowledge, right? So here, Bhrukuti, what is called the Bhrukuti, this is where the Ajna chakra is, and the Sahasrara is on the top. Now, why have I done this color coding? I will, in a later video, touch upon something called Tripura, or the concept of the various trinities that we have, apart from the trinity of Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya. We have various trinities in Hinduism in creation itself, which have been given to us by Hinduism. I'll touch upon those in a later video. One of those things, in one of those trinities, are the 3 sources of light. So let us restrict ourselves to Earth, for example, for now. There are 3 sources of light for all life on Earth. Anything else will typically fall under one of these categories in one way or the other. One is the sun, second is the moon, third is fire, some kind of fire. Okay, these 3 are the 3 sources of illumination as far as at least the earth is concerned. Okay, let's restrict ourselves to this. Now, you might also have heard of this concept of the Shri Chakra or the Yantra, right? Now, in the Yantra, there is something called the Nava Avaranas. There are, let's say, 9. Avarana is actually in a way a covering or a layer or a boundary. Okay, so somebody who's into this path of Shri Vidya, Sri Chakropasana, they have to cross these 9 levels to reach the ultimate 9. Okay, 3 into 3, 9. Now, when we talk about something like the Ramanama, if you, I think I touched upon this sometime back, it is made up of Rama, for example, takes up the Ra, A, Ma, right? 3 alphabets. Now, similarly in the body, when we talk about chakras, there are these 3 concepts. There is something called the Agni Mandala, the Surya Mandala, and the Chandra Mandala. Hinduism has this beautiful unity, offers us this beautiful unity. So when you take the Nama of Rama Nama, for example, Bhagavan Nama, Ra, A, Ma, Ra is the Agni Bija, A is the Surya Bija, Ma is the Chandra Bija. So you have the Agni Mandala, Surya Mandala, and the Chandra Mandala. If you take something like a Yantra, like a Sri Chakra, there are Avaranas, one portion of which is the Surya Agni Mandala, then you have the Surya Mandala, then you have something called Chandra Mandala. Now we take our own body, the lower 3 chakras, the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, and the Manipura, are part of what is called the Agni Mandala in the human body. Anahata Vishuddhi form the Surya Mandala. Ajna and above, this portion in a way constitutes the Chandra Mandala. This is an example of this beautiful unity, this beautiful, it's a synchronization that Hindu and Sanatana Dharma offers to us across multiple aspects, right? You have a Bhagavan Nama, you have a Sri Chakra, something which is used for Upasana, then you have the human body itself. So Hinduism, there are a lot of these are actually yogic secrets which are built into our scriptures, into our Upasana, into our texts. These are some things that we can learn through a guru, but all these secrets of yoga, not asana yoga that we are familiar with, are available across Hinduism. So that is the reason for this color coding. The Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura are part of the Agni Mandala. The Anahata, Vishuddhi are part of the Surya Mandala. And the Vishuddha Ajna and above are part of the Chandra Mandala. Okay? Sahasrara is on top. That is technically not a chakra. Now this is part of the core structure, let's say. Now I come a little more in detail into what these are. This would be the last slide for today. I'll touch upon the other concepts in possibly the next video, maybe one more video, depending on how much I can fit into how many number of videos. The example that I'm telling you is taken verbatim from a video of Sri Samavedam Shanmuga Sarma. I've given a link to that series. So there is a beautiful uh, series of videos by Sri Samavedam Shanmuga Sarma where he has explained the Lalita Sahasranamam, the Bhashyam of the Lalita Sahasranamam. Part of it, I think from Shloka or the Nama 90 onwards, he takes the namams from the Lalita Sahasranamam and explains the concept of Kundalini from there. Right. So this is an example that he has given in that explanation. I've taken it verbatim. In any house, like imagine that we have various electrical appliances, gadgets. All of these are connected to wiring inside the house. Now, these are dead appliances till the time there is electricity supply in the house. And for a house, typically there is one main connection, which is from the MCB, whatever you call it. Right? This is in the physical world. Now, you take the Pura. The body is referred to as the Pura. Remember that concept of Purusha. Pura is the body. So he who resides in the Pura is the Purusha, Jivatma, Paramatma. That's called the Purusha. That's one meaning of the word Purusha. So in our body, also there are various gadgets. There is a gadget that speaks. There is a gadget that sees. There is a gadget that hears. Right now, all of these also have to be powered. Now, the way electrical circuitry exists, in fact, obviously even our neural network is an electrical network, right? In the Sthula Sharira or the physical body or the gross body. In the Sukshma Sharira, we have the Nadi Mandala, which is the supply network for that divine energy, that prana, right? So that Chit Shakti, so now think of it like this. There are 6 chakras in the body and the Sahasrara here. By the 7th month, when a fetus is in the womb of a mother, by the 7th month, this entire circuitry is in place. So after that, this Chit Shakti, the Chit Shakti, this divine energy enters that human body through the Sahasrara chakra, hits the Mooladhara, comes up, comes to the Hridaya Padma, let's say, and then that Chit Shakti, that divine energy in the form of prana, is sent to the 72,000 nadis that are there in the body. This is how that living being is energized, so to say. On top of that, this what do we call? This is the flow that happens continuously, right? Divine energy coming into the body and actually energizing the entire body. Now, this the equivalent of electricity is the Chit Shakti. The equivalent of the main line is the Sushumna Nadi, which is in the spine, and the Nadi Mandala of the 72,000 Nadis is the electrical equivalent of the electrical network that is there in the human body. This is how the human body is powered. The way you have an electrical supply circuitry powering appliances in your house, the divine energy, Chit Shakti, powers the human machine through this circuitry of the Nadi Mandala, where the main line, main supply line is the Sushumna Nadi. I will stop this video here for today. In the forthcoming videos, I will also talk about how this, or talk about Kundalini waking up. It lies dormant in all of us. How Kundalini waking up, passing through this. Uh, Kundalini is said to sleep like a coiled serpent with 3.5 coils. What is the significance of that 3.5? Why are the various chakras associated with lotuses? So on and so forth. Plus an explanation of the thumbnail also will be there, most possibly in the next video itself. Once again, advance greetings to everybody for the forthcoming new year, the Plavanama Samvatsara. I hope that this year is full of happiness, joy. I hope that everything that is Mangala, uh, which is auspicious, happens to all of us, to this country, to this land, to this culture, to all of you, to this world. I sure hope that this disease finds an end and the world recovers. As of now, till that time, cases are increasing. Please mask up. Please follow all possible precautions. Please take care and please do look up Sambhaji Maharaj. Don't forget that. Please take care. Thank you for watching this video. Namaste.